Good evening. I am back. Yes, for another season of podcasting. Let's see where this year will take me. Um, so, good news. I got myself a job finally. I'm working at a coffee shop. So that's yay. I'm uh, right now. I'm gonna be training um, at a university, at a coffee shop at one of the local universities. This is fantastic because honestly I missed being uh, behind the espresso bar. Um, I miss coffee. I honestly did miss making lattes um, but it's just like riding a bike. It's once you know how to make a coffee or make a cappuccino, it you just you fall right back into it. You kind of remember being a barista for 13 years. um, I kind of as soon as I turned on the steam one, I'm like, yeah, I remember, how hearing the steam one go off and how it hit the milk and knowing that that ripping noise sound is what you want. So it felt nice to be back behind an espresso machine and doing what I do best, and also learning a whole new POS system. For those of you who aren't in retail, the POS system does not mean piece of shit. Bless me, that I've used that many times to describe what is the point of sale system. Um, and Carl, you know what? I'm waiting for that. The Peppermint Princess rides again. Yes, I am waiting for the oopsies of syrup splashing me in the face all over again. It's funny because the coffee shop that I'm working at um, is actually has taken over an old Starbucks at the U of M, University of Manitoba. So it's going to be interesting seeing the whole layout. And um, as soon as I saw pictures of it, I'm just like, wow, that looks like an old Starbucks. Well, it is. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. um, but I I look forward to learning everything again. What I need to. Um, okay, I our bagels up here is definitely different than those in the states. I've been noticing that a lot of bakeries have like thicker bagels. Um, I Bagels are stupid. I'm gonna just throw that out there. I know a lot of people are into the whole bagel thing, but cutting bagels and buttering them, God, they're annoying. I would rather have actual toast than a bagel, quite honestly. I just find buttering bagels messy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm Don, Donna Carleen says she agrees with me. Uh, I don't know. It's just after a whole day of cutting up bagels and buttering them, I'm just like, God, these are the stupidest inventions in the world. Exactly. That's the problem. They make a big mess. There's like hardly anything to them, especially the ones that we have up here. They're like these little thin things. You might as well eat a cracker. There's a handy hole in the middle for all the butter to drip out. Exactly. That's yeah. I don't know. Blade thesis says, "Is that what the hole is for?" Well, I guess I've been doing it wrong. See, if it made sense to cut it in half and have like half of it going around your coffee cup, and then every so often just picking up a piece and dipping it in your coffee, maybe it would make more sense. But I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's eat a donut. Carl says, "How can we save money over using buns?" Well, let's make a hole in it. That'll save us money. You think shrinkflation is an issue? Bagels. Whoever came up with bagels definitely wanted to spend cheapen up the piece of bread. I don't know. But yes, welcome to Geeky Discoveries. The show is not about me bitching about mundane things, but honestly, sometimes it is. Okay, so I've introduced you to some of the people in my chat already, but Carl Winsman, welcome here. I imagine that everyone is waiting for it to appear on Skylar Productions channel. I did share, so I hope some people do show up. I apologize. I'm trying to not go live on all my pages all at once. But again, maybe that's the key to have all the people in my chat again. Donna, Carly, Carlene, hello. Probably I went there first, but nothing there. Yeah, I'm sorry. Again, I'm trying to figure out a way that I can distribute the audience to my Geeky Discovery page a little bit more. So I'm sorry if it didn't get to you guys soon enough. And I appreciate Donna. You are awesome. Thank you. Don't forget to like and share, subscribe if you are on YouTube. I even tried looking at going live on TikTok, and I'm not sure if I'm able to do the live thing on TikTok now. I'm gonna have to reinvestigate that because I could have sworn I was able to. But everybody's saying hi to each other. Daniel, I'm back for after a long hiatus. Had done my nighttime antibiotics, and I had to take for 6 months. Well, I'm glad that you're on the mend, and good luck with what you have coming up in the next couple months. So, for those of you who didn't know, I am Canadian. Things have been interesting the last month, and I'm trying not to go into too much details with the whole politics thing, but no, we are not going to become the 51st state, but you guys are welcome to become a new territory. That being said, I really we're gonna be in the we're starting the whole federal election for our country, and God, it's gonna be a stressful couple months, guys. And those of you who have been following me on my own page know how political I can get, and I'm sorry. Yes, this episode in particular is about finding your escapism, and we're going to need that more than ever this year. Especially, well, you guys are looking for a Canadian who can be your emotional support. We will still be your emotional support Canadians, but we definitely will need an emotional support system in place for us as well. Um, so, anybody who wants to pick up the mantle on being my emotional support system, I'm sure those of you in the chat will step up. Um, yeah, I'm gonna need it. So I'm looking forward to getting like doing the whole planning for KeyCon. That is coming up, which is our sci-fi convention coming up in May, May long weekend, 16th to 18th. Uh, if you happen to be in the Winnipeg area or want to come join us at KeyCon in May, please feel free. I would love for you guys to join me. I am one of the con chairs, so I look forward to seeing you. We have our fundraiser coming up in March 15th. $5 for the day. You can play games. We have a social, which is our dancing portion with a DJ. And we have a dinner planned. So you can join us for the dinner and social. And we have some games, we have some trivia planned. And it's going to be a fun time. I promise. And so I look forward to planning all that. Costumes are very much welcome. We are going to be sci-fi, fantasy, kind of a mixed media convention. Lots of great panels. It's not like a big Comic-Con convention. It's being held at a hotel, so it's a more personal a more personal connection with everybody. It's kind of a smaller space than Comic-Con, but I find those conventions to be a lot better than the bigger conventions where you're packed into a big space, like our sardine, and there's vendors everywhere. I like the personal connections. I like being able to sit down, have a coffee or have a beer with the guests. And conventions for me is my escape. So KeyCon is going to be my geeky vacation. And it's held at a hotel, so if we get tired, just go up to your room and have a nap. You know, uh, Blade says donuts are better anyway. Yes, yes, they are. Uh, uh, the, the Carl says it's a bagel conspiracy. Now people are just running with it. The Bagel Conspiracy, a new novel from Carl Witzman. Oh, uh, we can't buy Canada. Okay, so I'm sure that some of our politicians wouldn't mind the payout. uh, the people, on the other hand, they're turning into very much like Canadian geese. You piss them off too much, they're gonna attack. Split between Mexico and Canada. Yeah, no. See, okay, so my husband and I were having a conversation last night about California annexing, possibly looking to annex to Canada, and you know what? It would be awesome, but I have a sneaky suspicion that you know Vancouver will swoop in and be like, "Hey, let's just make our city bigger." Um, and yeah, because Vancouver is just above uh, California, and I don't know, it's just like you can almost I can almost see BC getting in there and being, yeah, we should lengthen our province. um, but I don't know. I'd like to see uh, uh, um, I'd like to see Canada and the US work together properly, but I don't know if that's gonna be a thing anytime soon. But anyway, uh, can we just buy Winnipeg? Um, Perhaps. I mean, you're our city, like our city tends to ignore what actually needs to be done and how to take care of it properly. So, who knows? We're having a little issue with our healthcare system right now. So, any way you can make that better, trade it for Duluth. Uh, yeah, I definitely prefer smaller cons than the bigger conventions. I I find that the bigger conventions, you're waiting in, you're paying more. You're paying more to for like half the fun. Yes, you get to go to the vendors, look around, and see all the good costumes. Um, but waiting in line to see your favorite celebrities, you're paying more to get them to sign something. Whereas the smaller conventions, look, KeyCon, we have Jim Butcher coming. Knock on wood. And he is a fantastic author. I mean, he wrote the Dresden Files. So we're gonna have him and his fiance with us, and we have a YouTube star. We have an artist. Um, we have so many great people coming, and I am excited to have everybody just in our little group meet all the people. The comic artist Evan Quering, he's been on the show, and I had a fun time interviewing him, and he's one of my good friends. I love his art. I I know I have something of his around here, but anyway, uh, he's just one of those artists that whenever I saw at Comic Con, I'd buy something from him because there was just something about his art. He kind of had a pinup. Um, uh, I love wrestling. So he does the luchador stuff, and the women are these voluptuous, big booty, big chested, yes, overly exaggerated, but it is beautiful. Um, Carl says, I usually prefer meeting the writers. I do too. And you know what? Okay, so like many of you, I love storytelling. I love the storytellers. And a lot of you guys I met through um, Brian K. Morris, who is a phenomenal storyteller. And meeting everyone that I see in my chat are pretty much exactly like that. You guys are all storytellers. Uh, with a mask, the Peppermint Princess could get into luchador wrestling. uh, yes, my finishing move would be the Peppermint Patty. I have a lucha mask. Don't ask why. Thanks, Blade. You know, I'm actually, honestly, I'm surprised I haven't bought one. I've looked at them and thought, hey, I should pick up one, but yeah, I would pay to see that. Yeah, the move would be me dragging your body to the ropes, and me just doing a jump and sit motion because I can't do anything else. uh, Oh yeah. What else is happening? Oh yeah. So Comic Con in October announced their year again. They haven't announced any guests yet, which I completely understand. Um, we have to see what what this month plays out as. Uh, Whether or not we're going to be seeing the tariffs or not, which I'm I hope I hope that we can come up with an agreement and not um, ruin our relationship with the U.S. But who knows? Um, so yeah, I should actually get in start working on costumes again. I I haven't worked on a costume in a while, although one of the costumes that I would like to make a return for is my Phantasm costume. Uh, yes, get your 3D glasses out, folks, because this is a 3D picture. Um, that is my Phantasm. For those of you who are Batman fans, um, I I made a I love the Mask of the Phantasm movie. That is my favorite Batman movie. And for since I was a kid, I've wanted to dress up as Andrea Beaumont. And I actually got a chance. So uh, there was a costuming store uh, uh, in my neighborhood years ago. And the mask I saw, and it was a Slipknot mask. I'm like, hey, I can modify that to become my Phantasm mask. So I did that, and the hood I definitely need to modify so that it stays up properly and doesn't flop. Uh, but yeah, the mask was I just sewed it onto one of those black hoods that you can see that you can see out of. The cape was I think it was a Ruby's Hobbit cape cloak. So I sewed it shut and did the jagged design on it. Uh, the boots, actually, I just found them at a shoe store and they worked wonderfully. The sickle my husband made, the round part the nose of the sickle is oddly enough a rubber ball, and the round part, the where my hand sticks it goes into, I'm not sure. I think that was a bottle. So yeah, just some plexiglass for uh, the sickle part, and cheap superhero gloves from a costume store. Uh, so the boots, I yeah, they just common rubber boots from from a shoe store. Uh, oh no, no. Did I ever meet the voice of Batman? No, unfortunately not. I think he came to Winnipeg. I'm fairly certain he came to Winnipeg in the last 10 years. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain he did come. But yeah, no, I kind of chickened out, and um, I there's some celebrities that I go up to, and sometimes I kind of do the chicken out thing and not. I've met Julie Newmar though. That was cool, and I was dressed up, I believe, as Harley Quinn when I met her, and she really liked my outfit. Um, trying to remember. Um, I met William Shatner. Although I think Michael Dorn was probably the best celebrity to talk to. Well, other than Julie Newmar. Um, but as far as people being personable, yeah, Michael Dorn was really good to talk to. Um, I managed to spend a pretty much a good chunk of my weekend at KeyCon one year, talking to Peter David when he came, and spent a good majority of my time hanging out at his booth. But here's my stupidity. Okay, so he wrote one of my favorite comic book series, and I actually had like the whole series with me, and I was gonna see if he'd sign all the books, um, and then I chickened out. I chickened out on getting Peter David to sign my comics, and yeah, I just so I have unfinished business, but the thing is, like, I spent the whole weekend with him, so I can't really complain about that. Grace Lee Whitney, Yeoman Rand was so sweet. Oh, see, the celebrities that give you that, the you feel special meeting them, is is what makes these moments so great. Yeah, we need to work on that. Yes, we do. Um, I just I fangirl. I'm a terrible fangirl when it comes to meeting celebrities, and I don't. I try not to get nervous around them, but okay. So Tia Carrera, I met Tia Carrera a couple times now, and she's always the best. The first time, uh, I just I walked up to her table, and I was wearing her character's Cindy Fox, an outfit that was inspired by her character. And so I went up to her table, and she's like, "Oh, is that supposed to be me?" I'm like, "Yeah." So we talked, and she actually said that the rope that she used for her necklace was actually her idea. She didn't want she didn't want any like chunky jewelry or cheesy like shark tooth or whatever, what have you. She just took a piece of rope and made that into her necklace. And so that was a cool little tidbit that she told me. And yeah, I was just like nervous the whole time, but she was so sweet. She was super beautiful, super tall, but she made me, as a nervous nerd, comfortable being around her. I'm not the only one. Yay! Tia Carrera is just a wonderful person. She is. Thank you, Blade. Um, oh, Daniel says, I met Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He's a nice guy. I hear he is a nice guy. Jimmy Doohan was very nice too. We weren't even at the con, and we ran into him in a hallway, and he made his handlers wait while we talked. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love having moments like that. These eclipse glasses don't work at all. Where did you get? Where did you all go? Talking about the 3D glasses. Yeah. Um, I'm trying to think of. Okay, so I had a funny moment with Kevin Sorbo. I know he's not exactly the most liked celebrity on this planet right now, but it was fun to have him at Winnipeg, come into Winnipeg about 10 years ago, I think. So I was working the registration desk and checking in all the vendors. Kevin Sorbo comes in with his handlers, and I give his handler the packet, and I go to write down, like scratch off the names. And all of a sudden, I get this tap on my shoulder, and they're like, "Hey, Kevin wants to meet you." And I'm just like, "Kevin? Who's Kevin?" And I look up, and I'm like eye level to his navel. Standing up, yes. Standing up, I'm eye level to his navel. The guy was super tall. So, yeah, I had to look a little up. um, so, yeah, that was kind of funny. And he shook my hand, but still, I was just like, yeah, that's probably like one of my favorite moments. Meeting a celebrity, just like just out of the blue, some celebrity just wants to shake my hand. um, I met her during the visit to California shortly after Wayne's World 2 came out. She was just hanging out at an outdoor cafe and stopped to talk to all the tourists. Dude. Okay, so going back to Tia Carrere, I love her singing in Wayne's World, and this is how far out of touch with certain music I am. I honestly thought that, when she did Ballroom Blitz in that movie, that was like her song. She did a fantastic job. I honestly feel like, and I'm sorry guys, but yes, Ballroom Blitz is a great song. She did a wonderful job on remaking that song, and I honestly would love to see her perform that song in real life. You're not the only one, but being a teenage boy, I couldn't keep my eyes off her legs. Yep. There is no doubt in my. Okay, so my gaydar is really broken. I'm gonna get straight out say this. I have no gaydar whatsoever. I will flirt with the gayest person alive, like the most flamboyant. So Tia Carrera is definitely on my list of celebrities that I'd leave my husband for. Sorry, hon. But I know he has his list. Um, but um, Michael Sheen is also on that list. And dude, him in drag. Why is Michael Sheen so damn pretty in drag? Michael Sheen is a very gorgeous uh, actor, but get him in drag. He's freaking beautiful. I'd flirt with Tia, says Donna. You know, I get Kevin outside of the political scene. I'm sure he's a great guy, but I don't know. Like he's had some issues with women. Um, but yeah, no, yeah, conventions is definitely one of my escapisms, and I look forward to seeing where where the convention scene will lead us in this new year. Um, I'm hoping that it doesn't affect us too much with the political BS happening in the states and US and Canada right now. Um, because you know what, I want to travel. I'd like to. I'd like to get into traveling. We have a. I want to. First of all, I'd like to go to Saskatchewan for our for their train show. But I mean, with my new job now, I don't know if I'll be able to. But there's a big train show in Regina, and so I'd like to. I my husband's gonna go with his dad. Um, so if you're into model trains, that's another hobby that you can get into. It's a little expensive, but I mean, any hobby you get into, it can be expensive. I mean, costuming. If you are if you sew, material is freaking expensive. Um, so I tend to stick with um, going to secondhand stores and finding outfits that I can modify into costumes. That's the kind of costuming that I do. Um, and then I end up with a shit ton of clothes. Apparently, shopping is my hobby. Um, I would have loved to meet Kevin Smith. Oh yes, too. Oh, I'm maybe reading this wrong because that might be the wrong Kevin Smith I'm thinking. Too bad he died so young and just on the brink of big investment in his career. Uh, Let me know which Kevin Smith you are talking about because that's not the Kevin Smith that I'm thinking. Cosplay as an escapism is good. It is. It. The photos like okay. So I want to apologize to my friend Betty for not showing up at the photo shoot today. But I hope they had fun. But I would like to get back into doing photo shoots for cosplayers again because that has always been something that I love doing. Um, Especially when you can go to different areas of the city, um, and plan themed events. Those are always the best. Um, but yeah, cosplay can be great. Can be also fairly expensive depending on how you go about it. Music is my escape. Anytime I need to get away for a while, I will put on some music, usually loud, heavy, and brutal, and just jam. I am. My music tastes are very eclectic. Uh, I can go from listening to soft jazz to hardcore rock, and then 90s pop, um, 70s classic rock. I tend to jump all over the place with my music. And then every so often I'll have the urge to listen to classical music. Just, you know, put on some like Beethoven or Bach and just um or sometimes even just broke music. Just um I don't know. Just sometimes when I get into like a creative mood or like want to paint or something, for some reason, it's classical music. Uh, Painting is another escapism that another hobby that I picked up, but I tend to go on the cheap end with my painting. Uh, I I found going to the dollar store and picking up paint sets from there. And they also have printed canvases that for people like me who are just getting into the painting hobby, uh, gives good practice. I definitely modified the painting a little, like what the birds. uh, uh, but yeah, I it's funny because my husband just had a birthday, excuse me, and I came up with the idea of taking uh, uh, um, one of his Lego pieces, and I was going to paint a picture from the inspiration of that. Um, Sadly, my one of my paint sets decided to dry up, but the I will be when I get the inspiration again to paint one of the Lego flags, I'll take a picture of it and show it to you guys. And I'll have it on my page. Which, now that I think about it, I'm sure a lot of you will be like, "Hey, that sounds like a great idea to buy." Maybe one of these days I'll get into painting and selling my stuff, but right now it's just I'm just practicing. I'm not I'm not that good yet. um, I do have a painting that I was working on of cherubs dancing. Um, I kind of put a hold on that, um, but it was actually turned out really good. Um, I'm not sure where the canvas is. I think I have to clean up my computer desk, so that's that's going to be the next big thing on my list to do, maybe this week. Um, but yeah, trying to escape from stress, and I've been being unemployed really was a huge stress, and when you're stressed you don't want to do much. So trying to get back into the swing of not being stressed, not worrying about things, um, and need to get off my lazy butt and start taking care of the housework. Um, that's a huge thing, and unfortunately, being stressed out from being unemployed for so long caused me to be stressed out over the amount of housework that kind of built up. So, um, and then on top of that, it's like ADHD and all that. So, all that you're escaping from. You're trying to find an escape from your world, but also, you're not helping your world is also an issue. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has that problem, but yeah, but it's nice. Um, it having a job again definitely takes a lot of stress off. Uh, so, um, but I appreciate you guys giving me the confidence boost. I also listen to all types of music, but when I'm in a mood that I need to decompress, it's usually because I'm in a dark place, so I need equally dark music to bring me back. And we all have that one song. Well, I actually have, well, I have one song in particular that I like, and then I have a band or like a couple band. Can I even call them a band? I love Aqua. Um, and it's Europop. um, and they're from Denmark. So I'm sure everybody knows Barbie Girl, but that's not the song that I like. I love them all. Like I love all the songs, and I love Ace of Base. Uh, and I just something about there's like one song in particular from Ace of Base that I like, uh, and it's um, I'm never gonna say I'm sorry. I'm a club for everyone. I'm never gonna let you down. I'm always here like the sun. Um, but I don't know. It's Euro pop music is actually pretty fun to listen to if you ever get in the mood to listen to that. But but there's something about the 90s for some reason, like early 90s brought in like the had a bit of a techno vibe to it, and out popped uh, out popped a few Europop pop bands, and Aqua was one of them, and Ace of Base was a huge one early 90s. And I think that was actually, it's funny. This is how old I am. That was Ace of Base was the first cassette tape that I bought. And I think Aqua was my first CD I ever bought. uh, so there's like shift in how long between the two groups it was. But yeah, no, like I listen. Yeah, I like some hard rock, but I think I'm more of a classic rock. Uh, 60s and 70s classic rock. Other than rather than well, okay, so the 80s had like the hair bands. Uh, so I mean, late 70s or early 80s became the hair bands. So I mean, I grew up listening to uh, like Pantera. I listened to like my mom was huge into Kiss, and my but yeah, just that wasn't that wasn't like my groups to listen to. Back when I used to make mixed tapes, I had one in my car, and I was driving around with a friend when the tape went from Drowning Pool to back. He whipped his head around so fast that he hurt himself. Oh my god! Yeah. Uh, um, yeah, it's funny because like my sister got me into the whole alternative music as well, and I remember her saying that no, you can't listen to the same music that I listen to, and it's like screw that, Smashing Pumpkins. I I fell in love with the Smashing Pumpkins. I love Nirvana. Um, you know, I I kind of tolerated um, uh, uh, Courtney Love's group, but after a while I'm like, no, I'm not a huge fan of Courtney Love. Um, but yeah, and Foo Fighters came out from all that. So alternative music was definitely a huge success in the 90s, and I like that. Um, and yeah, music was definitely a huge escape in my world because, growing up in foster care, I I needed to just escape and use my imagination to create a better world for me. Um, Going to school was kind of an escape from the BS at home, and then I go I turned to art. I've always been an artsy type. I started to draw, and you know often I would escape my world that way, just going into um, comic books. I wanted to become a comic book artist, and trying to emulate all of my favorite artists. And do I still draw? Not really. I definitely, you know what? Honestly, if I could take an art course now, that would be awesome. I would, in a heartbeat, take an art course. Uh, would I do anything with it after? Probably not. uh, but no, I do miss drawing, but I just like painting. It can be time consuming. Um, but it's all in how you manage your time. Um, During the pandemic, well, I mean, I got into podcasting, and there was a time in my life where I had it in my head, I'm going to break into the broadcasting industry. So back in 2006, I went to broadcasting school. I started doing online broadcasting, and thinking back, my friends, that I worked with when vlogging first started, um, my first podcasting group per se. Shout out to Peg City FM. Trust me, I'm the last person that you would ever get your sex education from. I don't know why we thought that was a good idea. Uh, but apparently, it, it it gave me a chance to do some research. Interesting. But still, I am the last person who should be giving advice about sex. And I pray to God that my old my friends do not have any of those videos that they can hold against me. I wouldn't be surprised if they still exist. Um, but we were doing stuff on Blog TV when it first came about years ago. So yeah, shout out to the old Blog TV crew. Um, so yeah, that's where I started doing the whole blogging, and we didn't know that it was actually going to become something. Like we had no freaking clue that podcasting was going to be a huge thing come 10, 20 years later. Um, so yeah, so I've been technically podcasting for 20 years, almost 20 years. Um, so, and that has become a great escape out of stress um, and leads me to today, where 5 years later after the pandemic, I'm I'm a podcaster. I've been doing this. I've always wanted to do it. I started thinking about doing it, coming back and doing podcasting in 2019. And I started getting all the equipment that I wanted. Pandemic hits, and I met several people who started up a podcasting group. Look at me now. This has been like probably one of my favorite escapisms. Um, and I'm having a blast doing this. I'm having a blast meeting so many people. And honestly, do I want to work in a mainstream? Do I want to work for mainstream media? I still I still have like that in my head where yeah, I wouldn't say no to working in an actual studio. I would love to work in a radio station. Um but I kind of like I kind of like having my own ability to do it, like my own doing it from home, doing it on my own time. Um and you know trying to figure out when is the best time to do it. Seems like everybody's available to do it on Sunday evening, so hey, why not? During the week is usually busy for a lot of people, so I'll stick to doing it Sunday nights for right now. Um, what other hobbies have I picked up? I've you know try, trying to spend time with the husband. That we we've been trying to work out our life. When I was working regular hours, or when I was working, period. There were times where I'd have to give up my free time on a weekend because I get called in to work, and that stressed out my husband. So now that I'm working again, um, you know what? If I have if my new job is often we're closed by 5 o'clock, I have the evening to myself. I don't have to worry about working till 9 p.m. till 10. Um, so it's nice. Like it's and my shifts right now are 8 to 4 or 8 till noon. So now I have free time to hang out with my husband and have lunch with him, and then we have dinner. he'll go back to work for a couple hours. He comes home and we have dinner and we veg for the rest of the evening. And so, yeah, it's all coming together now. In a studio, you'll be handed a script, and that is what you would say. It's not all that fun. You know what? Yeah, like it, you see what they put out on social media, and it does look like it's fun to work in a radio station. Um, but yes, you are correct. Like there are ad reads that you have to read for the people, the sponsors. You you can't really say no to a sponsor because they are the ones that write the checks. And if this show were to ever be sponsored by anyone, I would hope that it would be for a product that I actually use and enjoy and have complete faith in. Um, would I say no to someone giving me a shit ton of money? Probably not, but it depends on if it's like I'm not going to sell my soul out. I'm not going to sell out my morals for a product that is dishonest. But if a company were to say, yes, we'll be your sponsor and you drink this product or you eat this product and you say how great it is, it better be a damn good product. um, but yeah, like I'm not selling out my soul or my morals for a sponsor, but at the same time, you know, hey, would I say no to someone giving me money over buy me a coffee? No. Giving you guys a shout out is what I am here to do. Um, so, and speaking of which, speaking of sponsors, we just recently worked with Comic Books for Kids. We just recently had a huge fundraiser for Comic Books for Kids. So let's shout them out. Let's give them a shout out. comicbooksforkids.org. We had a lot of fun doing the fundraiser, the multiverse fundraiser. You guys can watch all the videos on our YouTube pages for that. And you guys can contact Mark at comicbooksforkids.org if you guys want to donate any further to them. The show is amazing. I love you guys so much. Thank you very much for joining me here tonight and listening to me vent and reminisce. Get some VPN ads. And hey, you guys are authors. If you guys want me to play your ads on my show, I'd be willing to do that. If you guys would like to hire me to be your voiceover for your books, I can do that too. I would love to get into voice acting for audiobooks. That would be fun. But the show has gone on for an hour and I gotta put my husband to bed. So you guys have a wonderful night and I look forward to talking more with you. I am your emotional support Canadian. There's a lot of shit that's going to happen in the next little while. I am here for you. I am an ally. gay, straight, I love you guys. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what you guys are my friends. I love you all so much. Okay, I want you guys to stay safe. I want you guys to stay alive. And you guys have a good night and take it easy, okay?
My name is Mark Weiss, and I am the founder and president of an organization called Comic Books for Kids. 6 years ago this month, we embarked on a journey of passion and heart. Our goal was to make a difference for children in hospitals and cancer centers. Little could we have ever imagined the response we have now. Starting with just hopes and dreams. We had no money for our mission. We had no product to give to the hospitals, and we had only called a couple hospitals and asked them, if we were to provide you with comic books, would you be interested? And they said yes. So we embarked on a one-year journey to make a difference for these kids. We realized that even though we can't take away the reason these children are in hospitals, we can perhaps, while they are there, let them fly like a superhero, be princes and princesses, and embark on a mystical and magical journey to take them away from where they are in that hospital bed. Today, and thanks to your support, we are thrilled to say that we are now the largest charity in the U.S., supporting well over 200 hospitals in all 50 states for not only comic books, but for other pop culture items like Funko Pops, action figures, coloring books, Spanish bilingual items, backpacks, and more. When we received materials that were inappropriate for the young ones, we started a sister charity called Comic Book for Troops. And overnight, we became the largest charity in the U.S. for these same items to all branches of the military. We want to thank our friends for providing us their support and for allowing us the means to make so many happy with their gracious give to us.